A Man of Two Worlds. Kabul, Afghanistan, December 24th, 1979. Once a serene city of mosques and gardens during the storied reign of Emperor Babur. Now since, the city mostly lies in ruins. It is known as the graveyard of empires, and today it will begin to lay claim to a new victim, the Soviet Empire. Morning prayers echo through the streets, alleys and market of Kabul as the tea of a nation comes to a boil. In one of the local homes, Fahim's mother removes a large kettle from a hearth and pours tea for herself and her husband. 12-year-old Fahim lies in bed. He can hear his parents arguing and rolls on his side, placing the pillow over his head. When this does not provide relief, he rises from bed and dresses quickly. He grabs his kite that was hanging on the wall and passes the kitchen where his parents are quarreling. He attempts to leave without notice, but just as he is almost free, he hears his mom calls out. His mom grabs him tightly, stopping him in his tracks and catching Fahim by surprise. She has tears in her eyes. "Fahim," she implores, "you must promise me you will always be strong and kind." Fahim pulls away to look at his mother and replies with certainty, "I will, mommy, always." She seems pleased with his response but is still holding him and looking him in his eyes earnestly. "Good boy. Are you going to try and fly your kite in the snow?" she asks. Fahim nods sheepishly and his mother hugs him harder than before. "You go fly your kite then. You are always trying to do the impossible, my brave son," she says as Fahim's father calls out. "Fahima, come back here," she quickly responds. "Yes, dear," as tears roll down her cheek. Fahim notices and is puzzled. "It's okay, mommy. I can fly my kite in winter if I go outside the airport gates." "The planes taking off help push the kite high into the air," he says consolingly. As she lets him go, she praises, "You are a very clever boy. Go play then, my little dreamer." And with that, Fahim is out the door, bounding down the snow-dusted road to the field surrounding the airport. Unbeknown to him, it is the last time that he will hear his mother's voice for 4 years. He runs down the embankment trying to get his kite airborne. As he looks up once more, he suddenly sees very large silver planes with large red stars on the wings and the carriage of planes. One after another, they descend from the sky and land. Soldiers with large weapons and packs disembark from the planes, followed by assault vehicles that are mounted with machine guns and red flags with a hammer and sickle. Realization hits home for Fahim. It's the Russians! Fahim picks up his kite from the ground and runs as fast as he can for home. He bounds into the house to warn his father about what he saw. "Daddy," he yells, "the Russians have landed at the airport. Thousands of them. They have tanks and cannons." Fahim's dad sits in the chair with his head in his hands, and when Fahim gets no reaction out of him, he runs to find his mother. However, she is nowhere to be found. He calls out in panic, "Mommy! Mommy, where are you?" and becomes almost hysterical in the frantic effort to warn his mother, brother and sisters. He returns to the kitchen to where his dad still remains. "Where is mother, Daddy? Where are my brother and sisters? The Russians are here." Frantically, he begins to plead for his mother when his father finally responds by pushing him to the ground and says, "Your mother is gone, Fahim. She has taken your brothers and sisters to try and escape. The radio station announced that the Russians would be arriving, so she has left to try and save them." Sobbingly, Fahim asks, "But what about me? Did she not want to save me?" His dad responds, "Yes, she did, but I would not let her. I told her she could go, but that you must stay here with me." Fahim now realizes why his mother was crying and why she said what she had said. He begins to cry even louder. His dad grabs him by the collar and says, "Fahim, you must stop. You must become a man today. The time for being a child is over. Our country has just been invaded by godless infidels. We must do what we can do, and if it is meant for us to reunite with your mother and your brother and your sisters, then we will." Now hugging his sobbing son, he ends, "Inshallah, God willing, let it be so." Come along and experience the incredible true life story and journey of Fahim Fazli as he deals with the reality of being separated from his family and living in a war zone. From running errands for the CIA and dealing with the invading Russians to teaching himself how to shoot a gun, learning horse riding and competing in buzkashi. The journey will take him on an arduous trek over the Hindu Kush mountains to Pakistan, where him and his father will stay a further 4 years in the refugee camp in Parachinar before finally being granted permission to move to the USA and being reunited with the rest of his family. The story doesn't end there but only continues. With good fortune smiling on for him, he breaks into the film industry as a SAG actor and cultural advisor to the movie makers. He gets cast in films including Rambo and Marvel's Iron Man. With a strong sense of gratitude and the desire to give back, Fahim later accepts the advice of Charlie Wilson and joins the Marine to both help his mother country and his adoptive country. Leaving behind his own new family, his wife Amy and his daughter, and showing us a side of the conflict that very few have privy to, with strong links to both countries, culturally, personally, with kindness, connection and understanding. He goes on to serve in Afghanistan with 2nd MEF 3rd Marines 4th Battalion in the Helmand with India Company before returning home to his family in the USA, giving us the incredible life story of Fahim Fazli, a man of two worlds.